Verse 18, and you shall say, these belong to your servant Jacob, for it is a present sent to my lord Esau, and behold, he is behind us. I am reading in Genesis chapter 32, in the best history book that you could possibly put your hands on. It's right here. I can touch it. I can turn the pages. And in verse 19, then he commanded also the second and the third and all those who followed the drove, saying, after this manner you shall speak to Esau when you find him, and you shall say. All right, verse 21. So the present passed on before him, while he himself spent the night in the camp. Now, folks, this is what's really fixing to get interesting. The night in the camp. Now he arose that same night and took his 2 wives and his 2 maids and his 11 children and crossed the ford of the Jabbok, or Jabbok, and he took them and sent them across the stream, and he sent across whatever he had. Then Jacob was left alone. What did it just say? I'm reading, and it says, then Jacob was left alone, and a man wrestled with him until daybreak. Folks, I'm just reading right out of the history book, and I know some people are going to have some imaginations, and I guess that's okay. But Jacob is wrestling with him until daybreak. And when he saw that he had not prevailed against him, he touched the socket of his thigh. So the socket of Jacob's thigh was dislocated while he wrestled with him. And then he said, this is the wrestler with Jacob. This is not Jacob saying something right here. I'm reading to you from the history book. I got it right here. It's the best history book you could possibly read. Then he said, let me go, for the dawn is breaking. But Jacob said, I will not let you go unless you bless me. Folks, Jacob said, I will not let you go unless you bless me. I will not let you go unless you bless me. Now, Jacob has already had experiences, you understand? But he hadn't had an experience like this one, because this one cripples him. And he said to him, what is your name? And he said, Jacob. And he said, your name shall no longer be Jacob, but Israel, for you have striven with God and with men, and have prevailed. Then Jacob asked him and said, please tell me your name. I mean, it's been a fight all night, friends. And I mean, you may not even be my friends, but that's okay. I called you friends anyway. I'm reading right here out of the history book. The history book that was written a long time ago. I am reading the same thing that I believe Jesus of Nazareth read. I really am. I really think Jesus had Genesis and could read it. I really do. This wasn't Jesus that was being wrestled with. No. It was Jacob. And Jacob asked him, please tell me your name. And he said, why is it you ask my name? That's when Jacob figured out, I don't need to know your name. I know you. I've seen you before. Yeah. And he blessed him there. And Jacob named the place Peniel, for he said, I have seen God face to face, yet my life has been preserved. And you gonna tell me, oh, I'm not gonna listen to what you tell me. Why should I listen? I can read right here. He did what? I have seen God face to face, and yet my life has been preserved. I'm telling you. Now the sun rose upon him, and as he crossed over Peniel, and he was limping on his thigh. He was limping. He fought all night. And God Almighty has crippled him. But he is going on. There's nothing left for him to do. Daylight's come, and he's got to go home. Therefore, to this day, the sons of Israel do not eat the sinew of the hip, which is on the socket of the thigh, because he touched the socket of Jacob's thigh in the sinew of the hip. He who did it was God. Then Jacob lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, Esau was coming, and the 400 men with him. Ooh, he got fast, and he divided the children among Leah and Rachel and the two maids. He's dividing them up, folks. And he put the maids and the children in front, and Leah and her children next, and Rachel and Joseph last. He's doing his best to protect Rachel and Joseph. He loved Rachel. I believe he loved all of them. He just loved Rachel a little bit more. Anyway, folks, I'm at 7 minutes. I don't have much longer to go. And he put the maids and the children in front, and he himself passed on ahead of them and bowed down to the ground 7 times until he came near his brother. Then Esau ran to meet him and embraced him and fell upon his neck and kissed him, and they cried. It says wept right here in case somebody wants to, take me to school on it. Everybody's always wanting to school me. Anyway, if I want to go to school, I just go across the street. And they have school over there during the week. There's a few trucks and vehicles over there now. I don't know what they're doing. But I'm sitting here reading out of the history book. I got it right here. And Esau lifted up his eyes and saw the women and the children and said, who are these with you? And he said, these are the children whom God has graciously given to your servant. Folks, then the maids came near with their children, and they bowed down. Bowing down is worshiping, in case you didn't know. I mean, some people really don't know some stuff. I guess they never read the history book. And Leah likewise came near with her children, and they bowed down. And afterward Joseph came near with Rachel, and they bowed down. They did. And he said, what do you mean by all this company which I have met? And he said, to find favor in the sight of my Lord. Y'all need to check out the word Lord here. Yeah. He's done this to find favor in the sight of my Lord. But Esau said, I have plenty, my brother. Let what you have be yours. And Jacob said, no, please. If now I have found favor in your sight, then take my present from my hand, for I see your face as one sees the face of God. Oh, my soul. Do y'all ever read the book? Please take my gift, which has been given to you, because God has dealt graciously with me, and because I have plenty. Thus he urged him, and he took it. Yep, folks, that's how it was several thousand years ago.